Hey friends, gather close. Tonight's tale comes from a place where the land doesn't quite touch the earth. A place that floats, whispers, and watches. We are going to Brunei, specifically to a place the locals call Venice of the East. 1,000 wooden homes perched above the Brunei River, connected by creaky walkways and dark, endless canals. It's called Kampong Ayer. And it's more than just a floating village, it is a living coast, drifting between centuries of memory and something far more sinister. Tonight, I want to tell you the legend of the possessed bride of Kampong Ayer, a spirit so sorrowful, so cursed, that even now brides in the village tie red ribbons on their wedding beds to keep her away. Let's begin. The story begins in the 1950s when the village was bustling, with shops floating beside homes, schools, and even mosques, all built on stilts above the river. It was a time of celebration. And in the heart of the village lived a young woman named Siti Nur Asia. She was known for her voice, a kind of haunting lullaby that could calm children or bring tears to adults. But more than that, she was known for her beauty and for the love she shared with a quiet, kind hearted fisherman named Hafiz. Their love story became the stuff of local gossip, sweet, innocent, and the kind people believed in. But every good story in these tales always starts before the curse. They were to be married during the Hari Raya Haji celebrations, a time of blessings, unity, and devotion. But something felt off. The night before their wedding, Aisia's mother said she heard her daughter whispering to herself in a language no one recognized. When asked about it, Aisia only smiled, but her eyes, they weren't hers. That night, a black cat appeared at the doorstep of their home, and it's considered a bad omen in Brunei and Malay traditions. It circled 3 times, scratched at the wedding door, and vanished into the water. The next day, Aisia walked down the aisle in silence, and her groom trembled as she approached, because the girl beneath the bridal veil wasn't Aisia anymore. In Brunei and across Borneo, there are countless tales of spirits entering brides or grooms during major ceremonies, especially weddings. Spirits are said to be drawn to strong emotions, specifically envy, and marriage. It's a magnet for what the old healers call jiva turbela, that means the fractured souls looking for vessels. That night, after the ceremony, Hafiz led his new bride to their wedding chamber, a room decorated with jasmine, gold cloth, and sacred charms to ward off evil. But as soon as the door closed, Aisha began to hum, not a love song, but a chant, low, monotonous, and not quite human. Hafiz tried to hold her hands, but they were ice cold. When he looked into her eyes, he saw nothing but only darkness. She began speaking in riddles, like taking names of the dead, names of no one in the village ever uttered aloud. Then she laughed, a high pitched, piercing sound that echoed through the village. Neighbors said they heard a splash, then silence. By the next morning, Asia was gone. The whole village searched the canals, calling her name, but no boat was missing, no footprints were found, and only a jasmine veil was found floating near the jetty, and that was stained with blood. Some say Hafiz went mad after that, and he stood on the walkways every night calling out to her. Others claim he drowned himself a week later, and his body was never found. But then the real horror began. It started with the brides. Each time there was a wedding in Kampong Ayer, the new wife would report the same thing. Footsteps on the wooden walkway at midnight, wet handprints on the walls, a woman's voice crying outside their window, and then came the visions of a bride in white, standing alone at the jetty, hair dripping wet, her veil torn, with her face half rotten, eyes staring into nothing, mouth moving but without a sound. Some fainted, some fell ill, and in 1962, one bride, Noor Liana, was found dead on her wedding night. No marks, no wounds, just a look of frozen horror on her face. From that day, the elders began a ritual that every bride must tie a red thread to her wedding bed, every groom must light a lamp and say her name. Asia, daughter of the village, pray for our safety. Even now, they still do it. And a 1985 article in Pelita, Brunei, the national newspaper, mentions an uptick in unexplained illnesses during village weddings in the 60s and 70s. Some healers blamed Jin Semburu, that are the jealous spirits. In 1994, similarly, a wedding photographer captured an image of a second woman in the bridal room mirror. He quit photography the next day. Tourists in 2011 reported hearing singing beneath their homestay in Kampong Ayer at 2 a.m., despite being the only ones booked that night. There's a local boatman named Uncle Rahim who gives night tours of Kampong Ayer, and he tells visitors to be respectful not just of the people but of the past. Don't point at the water after dark, he says, and if you see a woman in white on the walkway, don't wave, don't speak, and for heaven's sake, don't follow her. He says a Japanese couple once disobeyed. They followed a singing voice into the dark. Their boat was found drifting 2 miles downriver, empty. This part's more recent. In 2002, a young couple from Bandar Seri Begawan held a traditional wedding in the water village. Everything went smoothly until the first night. The bride, Amira, was found sitting by the edge of their walkway, eyes open, mouth whispering the same words again and again. I am waiting, I haven't left. They brought in an imam. He performed Ruqya, the Islamic cleansing prayer, and as soon as he began chanting, Amira vomited a clump of jasmine petals. Still wet. The family moved to the mainland that same week, and she hasn't spoken of it since. But that red thread, it still hangs from the railing of their abandoned stilt house, fluttering in the wind. They say Asia still wanders Kampong Ayer, not angry, just incomplete. A bride forever searching for a wedding night that never happened. A spirit drawn to love and jealous of it. So if you ever visit Brunei's floating village and you hear singing on the water, look away, light a lamp, tie a red thread, and let the river take her sorrow far downstream. Alright, friends, that was Brunei's haunting tale from the river that never forgets. Next time, we'll drift to a different shore, another tale whispered across Asia or any other continent, maybe one with more teeth, maybe one even closer to home. Until then, sleep easy, keep your light burning, and don't answer voices in the dark.